Gears 5 has been out for almost 2 years now, if not already. And I wanted to give my opinions and my personal opinions and thoughts on the game now that it's been out for as long as it has been. And apparently, this is the last update, Operation 8 Part 2. Apparently, this is the last of it. And I wanted to give my opinion on the game and just wanted to see where my head is with the game overall, seeing how I haven't touched it in almost 3 years. Oh, not 3 years, 3 months. Sorry. So, personally, I still think, my own opinion by the way, I still believe that this game is the worst Gears game to ever be put out. And I have my own personal reasons on why I think this. Now, is it mechanically solid? For the most part, in some ways. However, the game itself and what it represents and what it's done to the series as a whole is something that I just can't forgive, really. And it's something that's just really bothersome when I see a bunch of people claim this game is a really good game or it's one of the best in the series, which it totally is not. It's not even close to being one of the best, personally. And I think that we as a community need to understand that this stuff that they pulled for Gears 5 is just unacceptable in many ways, realistically. And I just wanted to talk about it and give my thoughts on the whole situation as a whole, because this is stupid and I think it's time for us to actually say something and make sure that the next game, Gear 6, is, for one, better than this one, but also the best one in the series that it can be. So let me just start off by saying that the game is just, it feels unfinished. Even now, 2 years later, it still feels unfinished. Why do I believe this? Well, I believe this in a way that the game just doesn't feel like it has enough impact yet, if that makes sense. Because what I see on Twitter a lot of the time is the fact that a lot of people take time or take a lot of time to find a match, and it takes a long time to actually just get in the matches as well, and they're just making a lot of changes that I don't know if that's really good. See, now I haven't played the game in 3 months. 3 to 4 months now. It's been a while. Whenever my last video was the last time I played it. And so I'm going off based off of what I have experienced back then and also what I've seen on Twitter as of recently. And as of recently, it's just like I said, it hasn't been that good. People are taking 15 minutes just to find one match when it shouldn't be that way. There's some things that the game, for its time, it's only been 2 years since the game has came out and it's taken a long time to find a match. Why is that? When you can go to Gears 3 back in the day, if you lived back then during that time, the game came out in 2011. Matter of fact, its 3-year anniversary, no, excuse me, 10-year anniversary was a couple days ago. And that's great. And at that time, 2011, 2013, 2014, you would still find matches like it was nothing. Full matches, no bot lobbies, nothing. Just great amounts of time to play the game and enjoy it, ranked or social. Now, depended on which one you were playing, because some modes had more players than others. TDM and King of the Hill come to mind as the ones that had the most modes and the most people on it. It's just nowadays, 2 years later, for just the newest installment, it feels like everything is being dumbed down, and I don't understand why. And it hurts because I've been with this series for literally a long time. I've been with the series since 2009 and it is 2021. I've been here for a very long time, 12 years in fact. And the fact that I can go back and think about the times that I played those games, Gears 2, Gears 3, Judgment and stuff like that, and find lobbies and find things way more to talk about in those times than I can now. And that's a little sad, really. And so that's just one aspect of it personally, and from what I've seen on Twitter, that's just one aspect that I just think that this game falls short very fast and very quickly. And it's just a little annoying that you see people complain about this, and it seems like nothing's really getting done. Now, I understand they could probably make some changes with, you know, the whole changing region stuff and all that, you know, because that did help in some ways for a lot of people back in Gears 4 to find matches. You know, as friends who have, as a person who has friends in New Zealand and Australia that I play with regularly, it sucks that when we used to play Gears, because we really don't anymore like that, you know, they might every now and then, but when we played Gears and Gears 4, it was very easy to find a match and be able to switch over to the different regions to make sure that we can all find a match and be playing together easily. But nowadays, it feels like when you play with people that are from a different country, it's harder to find lobbies because, one, the time zones are different, and two, it's really laggy. And it sucks that way, that it happens that way. But I digress. That's one thing that I noticed that is really dumb, that they haven't, from what I can tell, fixed that well. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have fixed it, but I haven't played it, so I don't know. I might play it. You might see gameplay on the the footage now if I'm playing anything of it, which I'm probably am, but you know, that's whatever. Anyways, another point I want to talk about is the character customization and the characters in general. This game lacks that oomph that Gears of War has as far as characters are concerned. Now, it is pretty cool that they're bringing back old skins from older games and just bringing in new characters in some ways. Yes, that's great. You know, I really love young Marcus, young Dom. That was cool seeing technically young Ty, even though they gave him the same fat face, even though his face didn't look like that in Judgment, but whatever. They still gave him that, and that was cool. Seeing Judgment characters back in the game was really cool. No Sophia, though, but that's whatever. That's whatever, I guess. And to bring back Valera and Barrick was also pretty cool, especially Valera, because she was a fan favorite from Gears 3 for a very long time, since her introduction into the game. Now, that being said, some of the character choices are just weird, if I might put it lightly, because they're bringing back characters that are, you know, pretty iconic. You know, you got your Marcus, Dom, Baird, Cole stuff. You know, you got that. But where are the random characters that were back in the older games that were just, I don't know, that just, I feel like they didn't get enough time or enough shine in the games to really show themselves off like they should have been. And you know, Griffin was one that came to mind personally, and Griffin is a character that's been in Gears 3 and 4. And yeah, he had a big part, well, a somewhat part in Gears 3 as far as the story is concerned, and that was great. Gears 4, he was just kind of thrown in there, and that was also great because Griffin is a great character. He is, I love Griffin. He's one of my favorites. But then he's just missing in Gears 5. Knowing that Ice-T is a big Gears fan and he would love to get back into the series, I think it's a missed opportunity on their part to not bring him in. But we have another COD gear. We have another, I don't know, another Hivebuster costume. Yeah, I get it. You have to pay people to do the voices and stuff, and you have to make new voices and all that. I get that. But put the effort into it like you did back in the day. Put the effort into getting these things going. That way when people can play the games, they can have their favorite character in play. I don't know if anybody really has their favorite characters in this game. To be personally honest, I don't know. I mean, I do, because, you know, I'm a Baird player, and, you know, I have my character, and I love JD and Kate and Dell and all them, so I have my characters. But it's just for those that are missing those ones that they used to have. I think that's something that should really be revisited, if I were to say. And that's just for the COG side. The Locus side was okay at best. It wasn't good at all, honestly. I mean, we've had better Locus in the past, and they did bring in some Locus that were never playable, like the Bolter. That was cool. It's just a drone, but it's cool. And that's the problem with a lot of the Locus. It's hard to really bring them into the game because a lot of them are just either the drone or the Grenadier, just with different armor on and just given a different name. That's the only crappy part about it. Now, I can't sit here and say that all the Locus are terrible, because they're not. There are some good. I still don't like the Terminator, and you know, some of them are pretty nice to see and be playable at some point in time, and it's cool. You know, they're bringing in a lot of new characters from the comics, and I think that's still pretty dope because those characters have never been in the game at all previously, or never really talked about like that unless you read the comics. So seeing them is cool, but I wish they had a little bit more of a oomph, if that makes sense. Just a little bit of a oomph to make the characters pop out, because now you still just see Grenadiers, or you don't see the Swarm, but you just see like the Grenadiers or the drones and the Cantuses. That's all you see. You don't really see these newer characters that they brought in, and it's a little saddening, honestly. But I guess that's just what people want to play as, and that's great. That's totally fine. But I don't know. I just think there's just more that should be done with this, if that makes any sense. Another thing with the characters and the customization and stuff like that, I'm not a fan of the banners. The banner system is kind of stupid. Like, I get it, but it's dumb. Like, the medal system that we had in Gears 3 and Judgment was great. That was a cool little way of saying, like, look, this is what I worked to earn. If you had an Onyx medal of a certain medal, or a certain one, that was cool. It was like a little flex you could throw off and you could show off with people. That was great. But then they decided to change it from that to banners, which if you are never MVP or never get that chance to be MVP, you're never going to see it. It is really dumb. It lacks the creativity that the older games gave us. Even with Gears 4, we had the damn, like the I don't even know what to call it. I'll call that a banner system too, I guess, but it was better, where you could see it pre-game. or in the match. You can see it. You can see that kind of stuff, and that was cool. This one is really dumb, and some of the choices of banners that they gave us are okay at best. I only use the Gears 1, 2, 3, and Judgment banners because those are the ones that just looks the best to me personally, or the flags. Excuse me, they're flags. I'm calling banners like an idiot. They're flags, but you get my point. They're not as good as what Gears 3, Judgment, or 4 did. And I'm not trying to be nostalgic over those games or anything like that and just keep comparing them to it. But when you're going on from 2006 to 2021, you have to compare what you have currently to what has come before to really justify why you want to make these arguments. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm making these arguments based off of what I have experienced from the previous games. And I'm not trying to sound like it's not like the older game, so it's bad. No, I'm not doing that. It's just, I'm just trying to make sure that people understand what we've gotten from previous games, from previous generations, what we've been given versus what we've getting now in the current generation, and why it's so dumbed down. And I don't understand. We've had more content back then than we do now in a lot of regards, not just with this game, just gaming in general. And it sucks because these things were just things that we had. We didn't have to worry about, certain microtransactions and stores and stuff like that. No, I mean, we had DLC, but that was its own thing. And I'm getting off track, but let me get back to what I was saying. Anyways, yes, the flags were not good. I don't think they were a good idea. I think that we need something more to show off while playing, and also show off at the end of the match. If you want to show off medals and stuff like that, that's great. Do that. Bring the medal system back. That made you want to work towards something. There is nothing to work toward now, customization-wise, at all for Gears 5. There's nothing. Oh, you have a Tour of Duty. Okay. The Tour of Duty has not been good since its inception. What do you want? It's bad. The medal system is bad. These things are bad, but I'll talk about that when I get to the systems and stuff like that. But anyways, yes, customization, very bad. The only saving grace that I can say, really, is, for the most part, are the weapon skins. The weapon skins for this game are not terrible. They could be better, but they're not terrible. I prefer Gears 4's weapon skins because there was just more variety, I believe. Yeah, there were a lot of repeats, but I just think there was more. I was always ready to change my weapon skin to something crazy to go with the character that I'm using at the time. Gears 5, I have the heroic skins. Well, the blue version. I'm not getting a level 20 with every weapon to get the ones I want. No. No. I have them, but I have the blue version, the white and blue one. That's it. That's all I need. I don't need anyone else. I don't need any more else because that's it. That's all that really matters to me. But I can't say that about the older games because there was always a skin back in the older days where I would always want to flip-flop around on which one I wanted. If I wanted to use Valera in Gears 3, I would use the ivory skins to match it. The white with black, the white with black. It was great. It was a great system. It was nice to see that. But now, I don't really have anything to match. I don't have any heroic character skins. I don't have any of those. So I'm just sitting there looking like, okay, well, got heroic weapon skins, can't match it with anything. Great. It's dumb. It's a little like I said, at the end of the day, all this is my opinion and this is what I believe and what I feel. And I don't like that, personally. I don't like that at all. And I just wish that we could get a little bit more, just a little bit more when it comes to certain things about the games, customization wise. But overall, I think the customization is very mid, very, very mid to terrible, really. I think it's something that could be implemented better in Gears 6. Just in my opinion. You have these characters that have not been in the game for 10 years coming back. You have Valera, Barrick, Ty, and stuff like that. You have these characters, and now you have something to bring to Gears 6. There's no reason to keep those characters in Gears 5 unless you have to record new voice lines for new enemy types and stuff like that. Maybe then do what you need to do on that. But if there are not going to be too many new enemy types and things like that for where you need to record voices, just bring them in. Trust me, people are not going to care. about them recycling voices and stuff like that. Nobody's gonna care personally because you're recycling them now with the Carmine. Carmine sounds different at one point because of the new filtering they added for his mask, and then he says another quote from the older games that sounds completely different. We can tell that you don't care. You want to reuse stuff, so reuse it if you need be. That's just my opinion, at all. Like I don't understand the whole reasoning for it, but hey, I would rather you do that than to be lazy and just not bring us enough characters at the start of the game like you did with this one. This game was pathetic when it came to who we could play as and all of that. It was just god awful. But that's enough of the customization. That's enough of the characters. That's all that. So I want to just get to the next point because I don't want this video to be too long. It's already 15 minutes long. I don't want it to be too long. So now the next thing I want to talk about is the systems and all that. I do not like the Tour of Duty. The Tour of Duty is garbage. It has been garbage, like I said before. It has been garbage for the longest time. It's been garbage since its inception. But it was actually even worse back then because we barely got anything. Anything was worth, there was nothing to get. You had flags and characters, and that was about it, and some weapon skins. That was pretty much about it. Yeah, you would get some coins or whatever, but you really didn't get any credits or stuff like that. You didn't get much back in the day, and it was very, very time consuming to get stuff. Unless you did something that made it easier. Buying stupid boosts. Which, to this day, I still don't understand why they decided to do that. I mean, like, I get why monetarily, but it's still dumb, and I don't like it. It's so stupid. So you make the game grindy on purpose just to sell us boost. Now, I'm not sure if that was on their part, Microsoft's part. I don't know whose part it was. But the fact that you make us do that is very scummy, especially for a game that you say you love and for the consumers that you say you enjoy a lot, like us, the fans of the game. You keep saying it all the time. You're fans of your own series and stuff like that. You have fans making the game with you, and yet you do scummy consumer terrible things like this, and it's dumb. Because if I want to clear out the Tour of Duty, I have to waste money on stars or boost to get 3 extra stars. The most you can get is 3, so the most you can get from a challenge is 6. And the challenges are stupid too, because if you want to re-roll, you have to spend credits, which also you get. Yes, you get in the Tour of Duty, but you don't get that many. And if you're going through the whole system, if you're just rushing through the Tour of Duty without paying anything, it's harder. Because yes, you can say, oh, you get them in the Tour of Duty. Yes, that's true. However, you don't get that many, and when you re-roll, it goes up by 10 credits. The first one's free, then it's 10, 20, 30, 50, 40, 50. And then after that, it stays at 50. And you don't get enough credits to always re-roll something to get better stars. So how many stars you get with the re-roll is random, and it's stupid. And the fact you have to wait 24 hours to get a new one is incredibly dumb. It's a system that they were trying to copy with Fortnite and all these other battle royales that they just failed completely when it came to implementing it. They wanted to copy but didn't know how to do it right, and they still don't know how to do it right 2 years later. I'm sorry, it's incompetent. I don't understand how they were able to get away with this and people were just okay with this. The Tour of Duty is terrible. And yes, you can say, well, we have medals, you can do medals. That still goes back to my point that it's grindy for the sake of being grindy. Yeah, you could bring the argument that Gears 3 had its grindy moments, and it did. It had the medals. It had its medals that you wanted to show off. But like I said, and it had the medals and the characters. If you wanted Prescott, you had to get silver in all the game modes. But what that did, it made you play the game modes. Yes, you could probably hate one, like Wingman, for example, and that took long. But it still made you play the game in a way where you can enjoy it. You don't have to get a certain amount of downs or do a certain amount of executions or getting a certain amount of rings, and no, you just played the game. It didn't matter if you win or lose, I believe so. It didn't matter if you won or lose. You just had to play the damn mode. Just play it out just play it out completely. That's it. If you wanted the Golden Hunter, that's where the only time it got a little weird, because you had to get gold with all the starting weapons. And if you didn't like using the hammer burst, the retro, the sawed off, then yeah, it was probably a little bit of a pain in the ass. However, that was your choice. You had a choice. If you wanted these characters, you can do that. And yeah, you could say, okay, well, Griffin. If somebody played Gears 3 right now, bought the game right now, and wanted Griffin, they would have to go into horde mode and get what, $1 million. That's grindy. I totally understand that. That is grindy. But if you were like me, back when Gears 3 was about to come out, you got the code to get him early. That was great. But most people did that because most people were looking forward to Gears 3 and wanted that game to be popping. Because Gears 2 was going crazy once the beta for Gears 3 was over. So they showed you at the beginning, in the front, how to get Griffin early. Right at the start menu. And they showed you how to get him early before the game came out. And I'm telling you, the resurgence for Gears 2 was high when Gears 3 beta was over. So you know majority of players got that code. It's not like how it is now, where if you want to get a certain skin in the Tour of Duty, alright, grind stars. If you want that last skin, which hasn't been good in a while, grind stars. Oh, you got to go to horde mode and kill a certain amount of bosses. Oh, you have to go into horde mode, kill a certain amount of scions. Oh, you have to go into escape and escape a certain amount of times on the hardest difficulty with a certain character. Why am I having to do this when you can just make the system less grindy to give people a chance to get these things? No. I guess you assume that the whole life cycle for this game might be crazy small, but I guarantee you, if the game is good, it's not going to matter. Gears 3 is a testament to that. Some people didn't like Gears 3. It had its problems. I'm not going to be no Gears 3 dick sucker because at the end of the day, Gears 2 is my favorite. But you can't sit here and tell me that this system is better than what we have had in the past. You can't. You can't tell me that. Now, I will admit, being able to buy the characters just outright versus those loot boxes they had in Gears 4, that is a good system that they did. And I am proud that I'm happy that they did that. I'm proud of you guys because that was, the loot boxes were stupid. I'm sorry, that was a dumb thing that you did. You did it because it was a trend, and now you got rid of it. Let's be real. You did not want to do that. You did it because it was a trend, and it was garbage, and nobody liked it. Let's be real. Especially when you're going for the black steel skins, that was even worse. You were not guaranteed your black steel, even in the black steel packs. Like, it was terrible. It was an awful thing to do. Okay, I went on a little tangent. Anyways, yes, the metal system, garbage because it's too grindy. If you want some things done, it's too grindy. Most people don't want to use a hammer burst or a torque bow or a boom shot and get a certain amount of kills. Most people don't want to play horde or escape to get a certain amount of coins after you finish the whole tab for that. Most people don't want these things. They want to just play the game without having to worry about the grind. And it was worse when the game first came out. I don't know if anybody remembers, but the whole fact that you had to play us on certain maps to get stars, remember that crap? And you had to win? That was terrible. Thank God they took it away, but that was awful. It was an awful system. And I don't know how the next game's going to be. Hopefully they change it to back to how it used to be, where you just unlock things for the sake of unlocking things without being a crazy grind, with the exception of 2 characters from the older games, Prescott and Golden Hunter. Yeah, Golden Miner too, but all you had to do was just the assault rifles. To get Golden Hunter, you needed to get all the weapons there to gold. That was it, and it was fun that way. It was fun. I personally believe that was funner, or more fun, whatever. And you actually got skins out of doing that. If you got the Onyx skin, if I remember correctly. If you got an Onyx Lance, if you got the Onyx Lancer medal, meaning you had to get a certain amount of kills with the Lancer, you got the Onyx skin, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and that was cool. That was cool to get because it was animated and it was dope and it was lovely. I loved it. Now, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It really does not matter. Since Judgment, they've gone to the whole monetization way, personally, and it's dumb. Except for at Judgment, there were loot boxes, but you couldn't pay for them with actual money. You had to get them through playing the game online. And it was only bad then because all you got a lot of the times were XP instead of actual things. Now you get actual things. Even if you did the exploit, you get actual things now. But I'm so high up as far as like how many of those I get, that it doesn't even matter. I'm not gonna get everything. So that was dumb. That was dumb, truly. But it was still a better system than this. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm really going on now. I guess I could talk about one last thing, and that's the store. The store is awful. if I couldn't make that clear. The story is awful. You know, they bring out a character that is 250 credits, so you spend money, they make you spend money, or you could be smart like me and wait a week, and then the characters get thrown down into another separate tab where you can just buy them with coins. That's an easier way to do it. But you know, if you make YouTube videos, then I can understand, or if you really want that character, then I can understand paying the what, $5, $3 or whatever for the character. Go ahead. But the smart non-monetization wise is going with the coins. And the story is just not good. Personally, you see the same rotating things all the time. You know, the reason these stores work so well with other games like Fortnite or Rogue Company or whatever other game is out there, the reason why these work so well is because they are easier to implement. Like with Fortnite, you just have a base model, you just change their outfits up, and you change some other things here and there, and that's it. It's easier to make characters and make brand new characters. Plus, they don't talk, so that's even easier. But when it comes to this type of game, it's harder because you have to implement more voice acting. You have to get certain character models and stuff like that, and they're very, very detailed character models, and you get to remake them from scratch if they're from a really old game that they have never been in yet, like with Jungle Tai and, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, you have to do that kind of stuff. You have to reimagine them. Yeah, that, like, I get that. I totally understand that. However, if you can't do what Fortnite does or what Rogue Company does or whatever other game out there that does that right or easily, then you shouldn't do it at all. Because it in my opinion, that makes the game feel stagnant and stale. How many times are we going to get a Chrome skin, which are way worse than Black Steel? Don't at me. I will fight you on the hill for this. Black Steels will always be better than Chrome Steel, bar none, without a doubt. You cannot argue this. Versus, and then now you get nothing but Hive Busters. Hive Busters wasn't even good enough mode for you to be promoting it in that regard. And then you have, I don't know, I think that's about it. I mean, look, I think I've gotten my point across on certain things so far. The game modes are whatever. They're your standard Gears of War game modes and stuff like that. You know, they bring in different stuff. You know, it is what it is. I guess I could say some positive stuff now because I've been very negative for the past almost 30 minutes. So the positive stuff that I can say is I do enjoy some character skins coming back. I do enjoy some of the skins that they have brought. I will admit there are some that are cool and that are amazing. I know I just talked a lot of crap about the Hive Busters, but Hive Buster Dell is my favorite Hive Buster skin. Him and JD, brilliant. I love them. I don't know why. They're very basic, but I love them. You know, certain skins for Academy, you got Academy Anthony, and then you have that version of Clayton with the hat and the army shirt on and stuff like that. And you know, you got, from what we saw in the trailer not too long ago, you have the prisoner Marcus and stuff like you have all these things like that. That's cool. I enjoy that because it shows us there's some type of want to make new things, and that's cool. I will admit I have to give them points there. That is very nice. What else is there? I think like I'm not even trying to be like funny. Like legitimately, I am not trying to be funny at all. I think that's it. Like I'm not trying to like sound like, you know, be a dramatic YouTuber and stuff like that and trying to be funny with the jokes and no, I legit think that's the only thing that I can actually say I enjoy. No, there's one more thing. The fact that you can do challenges in private again. Well, better. Like if there's some stuff you want to get now, because before a lot of those challenges did not work in private mode. You had to actually go online. Like for example, escape. There were a lot of escape ones that you could not do unless you played with real people. But now you can do them in private. And same with versus ones. There were some that you could not do. Trust me, there were times where I just grinded stars, and I legit remember you could not do some of those in private. For Horde well, Horde was the only one they really worked in. Versus and Escape, you could not do that. Then they made it a thing, I think, last operation. That's cool. Certain maps coming back was cool. River, my favorite map of all time. Great, love to see it. I think that's it. The campaign is whatever. It's whatever. They tried something new. They tried something very new, and you know it is what it is. I don't know what else to say. It is what it is. It's something new. That's it. I think that's it. Literally, I think those are the only good things I can say about it. Some of the characters that they brought back and stuff like that. I think that is it for the positives, because there's so much negatives with this game that I've been dealing with. It's just I don't want to force a positive thing that I think is good when I genuinely don't believe a lot of the things in this game were good. So I am just going to leave it at that. I might put something on the screen if they change my mind. And yeah, that's about it, y'all. This video's been going on for 30 minutes now, and I didn't want it to be this long, and I'm trying to end it now because I don't want to have another hour-long video on my hand like I did before. But yeah, in my opinion, this game, this Gears is the worst. And I know I say that with Judgment existing, but even with Judgment, I played the hell out of it. Even knowing it was a bad game, I played the hell out of it. And with me and my friend Fern, we played the hell out of it. We prestige all the way up. We played a ton. We played private a lot with the free-for-all. It was great. Many memories with that game that were actually enjoyable. And yeah, we put it down relatively early because the game's life cycle was pretty dead at a very early point and went back to Gears 3. But I can still say I had more fun with Judgment with the time that I spent, maybe about the year or so that I spent playing that game, that I have with 2 years of Gears 5. Gears 5 is just the game that has shown us how greedy some companies can be when it comes to certain things, how unmotivated they can be with certain things, and how they treat their people and treat the community in certain ways. Talking about you, GGZ, because you got screwed over. Anyways, yeah. So I might do more Gears videos here in the future. Yeah, that's about it. I might do Gears videos in the future again, you know, with some more Dead by Daylight stuff. I haven't uploaded in a couple months, you know, personal stuff. Life has been hard as hell, so I haven't been able to upload or do anything or feel motivated to upload. But hopefully I can feel a little bit better now knowing what I know and, you know, the stuff that I can get done with my life. And yeah, if anybody who's still watching, thank you for watching. This is where the video ends. Gears 5, worst one in my opinion. If I had to rank them now, personally, I'm gonna go from favorite or best, well, favorite to least favorite, and in that same regard, from my own personal opinion, best to worst. I go Gears 2, Gears 3. Well, no, Gears 2 is my favorite. It's not the best one. The best one in my opinion is 3, but 2 is my favorite. 2, it goes 2, 3, or no, 2, yeah, 2, 3, Ultimate Edition, 4, Judgment, 5. That's where I would rank everything. Am I missing one? Gears 1, but Gears 1, I lumped that in with UE. Or if I had to put it somewhere, it's Gears 1 will be before, or it'd be Gears 1 or 2, 3, UE, 4, 1, Judgment, and 5. There we go. There's 7 games. But yeah, that's enough of this video. I have been going on. I'm rambling at this point, and I don't want to keep rambling. So, thank you for anybody who's watching, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully sometime soon. And yeah, this is Ari signing out, and yeah, Bambi is dead.